the theme of the book. Okay, so this is again, often, no matter what class you're in, even if you're in college, you're going to be asked to identify themes and talk about stuff like that. So again, this might be a list you keep hold of. Everybody had an annotator this week, right? Yes. Go ahead and get out your annotator page.
Everyone has those,
Yeah, we had different.
yeah, it was the lit jobs. You have different
Yes,
lit
I
jobs.
split y'all up.
I had
Okay.
annotator.
Okay, so get out your lit jobs for a second then. Who was annotator?
I don't know that.
Your annotator, let me see your annotation, so I can check that off real quick. If you're annotator, get out your lit job, but also where you annotated. And then we're gonna chat for just a minute. Who else was annotator? James? We were just two annotators?
Yep. You did two for each of them.
You all might ever forget anything. Okay, who was my, we didn't do character, yes, we did do character connector. Who were my character connectors? Okay, Hannah, you're gonna go first. Who'd you pick? Okay. Josh, who'd you pick?
Aaron.
And give me two of his characteristics and back him up for me.
Leader and loyalty.
Leader and what?
Loyalty.
Okay, and so how was he a leader?
So in chapter 4, Moses and Aaron brought together all the elders of it and the Israelites and told them everything the Lord said to Moses. He also performed the signs before the people.
Okay. Did you say that he's flat or round?
Round.
Round. And what makes you think that he's round?
It talks about his age and his characteristics.
Okay. And was he static or dynamic? Do you remember what those mean?
I think it's static.
Okay. So static means he doesn't inherently change. So do you see that Aaron inherently changed in character from the beginning to the end?
Not really.
No, I agree with you. Okay. Okay, so that's annotator, I've looked at, character connector, discussion director, and what was our other one? I just completely lost.
It wasn't like the different styles of literature.
Oh, figurative figure. Okay, who are my figurative figures? Okay, what'd you find?
I think you also assigned discussion director.
Yeah, I did.
I keep forgetting.
In Exodus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm pulling up my Bible app for you.
Oh.
And everyone who was willing and who would, hold on. And everyone who was willing and whose heart moved them came and brought an offering to the Lord for the work on the tent meeting. And I said that there was an idiom. It was everyone's heart was moved.
Okay.
It wasn't literally.
Literally, it didn't move their physical body.
Right.
Okay. Who else was figurative figure then? There's only 7 of you, so. Okay, discussion director. I guess that leaves the 2 of you all. Okay, Ben, give me what you think is your best one.
Okay, I asked how much a talent was worth,
Okay.
And it was a 75-pound piece of gold. And right now that would be worth $1.25 million.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
One talent. That's crazy. Make sure that when you're doing those, they're open-ended questions, that there's not a specific answer for it. You could,
Gotcha.
my guess is you Googled that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Which is definitely an interesting piece of information. That's really cool. But when you do discussion directions, make sure that it's an open-ended discussion question that people could have different opinions or thoughts on. Okay. Jonathan?
I chose Exodus 34:10-12. It talks about the Moses covenant, and my question was, what was the difference between the covenant given to Abraham and the covenant given to Moses? My answer was the Abraham covenant was one-sided and where God's grace was being poured out. The Moses covenant was two-sided, where you had to have salvation in order to receive God's grace. There are a total of 5 covenants in the Bible. 5 is the number of grace.
I only had 5 children. Did y'all know that? I didn't want any to begin with, and then I wanted 5 for that reason. And then I had 1 and went, "Ooh, I can't do 5." And her name's Grace. Yeah. That's good. That's good. And showing the covenant. I mean, God's covenant through us now is through Jesus. I mean, He is the fulfillment of that covenant. So, okay. You have everything in your folder and ready to turn in, and I want to talk to you just a second about the book that you're going to start over the next 2 weeks. Because we really need that. I need to make sure that you understand what you're doing with it. Yes. Just thank you. Okay, you're going to start Machiavelli's Prince, called The Prince. This is kind of an instruction manual. Okay, Machiavelli was an Italian dictator, really, is what he was.
Well, he was a wannabe dictator.
He was a wannabe dictator, that's true,
He
okay?
never actually succeeded in making it to dictators.
But he basically wrote a manifesto, if you will, of how to dictate or how to lead, okay? This book is likely going to be the most challenging read for you of the entire year. I'm just being honest with you. It is not a story, so there's nothing for you to go, wow, this is really intriguing. It's not going to be intriguing. It is to provoke a couple of different things. You all, as you proceed through your education, will have to absorb, learn from, annotate things that are not interesting to you. So congratulations, you get to do it first in here, okay? This book, the only lit job that you will have the entire time is you are going to annotate the entire book as you read it. Now, I'm going to tell you how you will not do an annotator page, you know, the annotator lit job page, you will not do it. Yes, Hannah, I'm going to limit you on annotations. You and I will chat, okay? Because you have other schoolwork to do other than just annotate one book. How many of you have used SparkNotes before? Nobody. Write this down. SparkNotes.com. SparkNotes.com. You will absolutely 100% need SparkNotes on this book.
It's also on your syllabus to read from
Yes.
SparkNotes to context overview.
Yes. Okay. You have to, before you start reading this book, I want you to go to SparkNotes and I want you to read the background information, the context, okay? Then for every single chapter that you read, you're going to read the overview, it'll be like a summary, and then you'll read the commentary, okay? Now, how you're going to annotate this. As you read, study, and annotate the prints, you need to have your Bible close at hand. And I want your Bible in class with you every single week. This is secular. SparkNotes is secular. There's nothing in it that is over the top. It doesn't hit inappropriate content, okay? It's not dealing with sexual content. But it is most definitely going to be in contrary to truth. As you annotate, I want you to note how the book either lines up or contradicts Scripture, okay? this book is going to serve many purposes, one of which, though, too, is to learn how to walk your way through something that is very secular, that is very opposed to Scripture, and make sure that you don't just know, yeah, I know that's not scriptural. What do you mean it's not scriptural? What in Scripture tells you that the prince does not line up with this? You're going to need to look up Scripture on things like authority, leadership, how that people in leadership or authority are supposed to conduct themselves in the Lord for this. You might look up instances to where leadership did not do that and God allowed it to fail. Do you follow what I'm saying? Okay, so that is, my son, Gavin, had to read this book. He's already done it this year, and his answer was, why do you have me reading this for literature? This is ridiculous. Okay, I understand if you have me reading this for government. So is there anybody in here taking government right now? It will actually be very interesting to see that, so is government first semester and econ second then? Okay, so that'll be interesting for you to look at through those eyes as well. When I say annotating, I'm saying 3 to 5 annotations per page. Okay? 3 on the light, 5 on the heavy. Hannah, you can only have 3 per page. Okay? At max. And I want for you to make sure that you are referencing Scripture where necessary. Well, that doesn't make sense. I want you to make sure that you're referencing Scripture. I'm not going to tell you you have to reference Scripture on every single page. Most of you, it will be helpful if you read Spark Notes first and then read the actual book. Okay?
Is Spark Notes just an overview of the book? Like a summary?
It's almost like cliffhanger.
It's like, when I was in school, they were called Cliff Notes. Basically, it takes the story or what's contented in that chapter, and it gives you a brief rundown of it, and then it gives you commentary on and explains it.
It tells you everything that's important that happened and then some context.
Yes,
So it's just to help
it's just a help.
process.
And there are people, there are people who, like my other class is reading Little Women. I guarantee you there are people in there who try to get by in my class by just reading the Spark Notes.
I have a cousin.
Like you could do that. And I mean, there are a lot of, not my class, but as a general rule, you could do that. There's enough information in there between the synopsis and the commentary that you get the gist of it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's
You
all.
have to annotate the whole book.
Right. Again, I'm so, no, I'm really not. I just hold you accountable to what you should be doing. Spark Notes is a fabulous resource, especially for people who reading is not their thing, or language stuff gets in the way. The language that's going to be used in this is a little different. A lot of people use it for Shakespeare because it just makes it easier to understand. So I want you all to use the tools that are at your disposal, but I don't want you to. I try to set you up that it's not possible for you just to use that.
At the beginning of the year when I transferred to this class, I read the All Quiet on the Restaurant in front in Spark Notes.
Yes, and why did you do that, James?
Because
Since you just told everybody
I transferred with 3 days left until the first day of class and didn't have time to get
that. He
to
added
work.
this class on Friday before we started class on Monday. So he was given permission to do that. Ironically, you did well on that quiz.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I don't know how you did that. Because there were a couple of questions on there that I didn't think would be answered by Spark.
I have a really, I love reading history, so I have a really deep knowledge of World War I
Okay.
outside of the book.
That's what happened then. If you get into this and it is absolutely beyond what you can handle, I need to talk to your mom, but I need to talk to her ASAP. Okay? I need a phone call. I do not expect that's going to be the case, but if it is, it is, and we will find you something else to read in its place. Okay? Do you have any questions as far as what you're supposed to do on the Prince? Does everybody have the book, The Prince? Okay, did you get it? Because you looked at me last like I was crazy.
I didn't get it.
Okay. So I don't care which version you get. I mean, I think mine is much smaller than the one that James has in his hand. That was
This has big, this is the big letters one.
Okay. Okay, so make sure you do that. Again, Spark Notes before you start. I'll sign it. Thanks. Little Women. Yeah, if you don't like reading the Prince, I'll let you read Little Women. All right. Jonathan's like, oh yeah, all right. Little Women. Actually, most of the boys in my class actually turned out to like Little Women.
No.
Yeah. So
My
make sure
brother,
that
my brother complains about having to read it every day.
make sure that you read the context and the background information on SparkNotes before you start reading the book.
No. But I think secretly he actually likes it. He just doesn't want to say it because the book is called Little Women.
I know. I know. Does anybody have any questions concerning that? Everybody's good. You know what you're doing. Are y'all taking next week off? Is anyone taking next week off?
I might be. I might be because I have so much stuff to do that isn't school.
Yeah, we're
But I'm
doing
gonna try. I'm gonna try to get everything done the first week. So when all the stuff that I have to do happens, especially for my grandparents, because they're trying to get ready to sell their house, and we told them we'd help, and that's like
a lot
of
more.
work. Exactly.
Okay, so we've got like about 5 or 6 minutes. Nobody has any questions. You're good on research papers. You're good on your lit, everything like that.
When does the critique for the book thief do if you do it?
The extra credit or the one that you have to do?
For which book?
Well,
I thought the book thief was the extra credit.
that is the extra credit. The extra credit is due on December 4th.
Okay.
The critique that everybody has to do is due on November 27th.
And that's on the Prince?
That is on, you can pick All Quiet on the Western Front, you can pick Exodus, or you
okay.
could pick The Prince. I don't think we'll have anything else finished now. We're gonna do Animal Farm after we do The Prince.
Okay.
And it's a fairly short read, it's only 2 weeks, so you could, in essence, pick Animal Farm.
What is Animal Farm?
Animal Farm is a parody on socialism. It's a good book.
When was it written? Why do I feel like I know who Orwell is outside of Animal Farm?
Well, because he also wrote 1984. You may have read 1984. Those are his 2 main books. Yes, ma'am.
Why am I equating him with H.G.
I don't know that.
I don't
Yes.
either.
The critique for the book is fairly like similar to stuff we did.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much the same.
Yes. We're going to go over all the critique stuff next class. You can't leave until the bell rings, but you can clean up.
Are we going to be following
I need your folders.
for critiques? Are we going to be following the thing for critiques? Will we be following
This is
My invitation is on the
Miss Goosey?
Do you want me to take the picture?